Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you, sitting here this morning, pretty much thinking of what movie do I want to watch here. My days are kind of weird now. I'm at a weird place in my life. I drop my kids off at school, and on my day off, I come home, and I sort of just sit here and wait for them to get out of school. It kind of sad, but it is what it is. Sitting here, like I said, I'm waiting for a movie, and this video pops up on my screen. It's not really a video, I apologize. It's a story with the video linked inside of it. And this video actually came from the Wizard World in San Jose, which would have been in, it would have been last month. I believe, or maybe it was the first weekend of September. The video is not exactly new. It's just, I guess it's just finally moving around to the point where I guess, or either that, or maybe there's just no news that the wrestling sites are finally putting this up. But this was the Wizard World in San Jose. I had thought about going to this, but it was the weekend after Bola, even though my Bola trip got canceled. It got canceled too late to the point where I still had to take the weekend off. I tried to work, but I couldn't find any work. And I remember when this came up, it was like me, Victor, Paul. We had a group of people that really wanted to go, but then once I found out its date relating to Bola, I just felt bad. I can ask for time off for my work, and I'll say that 90% of the time, maybe even 95% of the time, I have a really good boss. My boss will always knock out my days. That I tell him it's never been a problem for me to go to wrestling or WrestleMania, SummerSlam. I always give him a lot of notice, but just asking for 2 weekends off in a row just felt like it was a little bit too much. So gotta help out the team. Gotta do the teamwork and pull it out there for you. But basically, during the Q&A session, Roman Reigns was asked about a match about facing The Rock. And in this, he basically said that The Rock was going to be probably the biggest match that you probably could put out there. He's saying that there would have to be something on the line, something to make the match mean something, like a title, being like the WWE Championship that they'd be fighting for. He says that there would have to be true competition and not just two of them going out there to see who's the better man. Honestly, in my opinion, for Roman Reigns to be talking about having to have a match against The Rock to try and have one of the biggest matches of his career, obviously The Rock means a lot to professional wrestling. The Rock came up from WWE, and now he's one of the biggest movie stars in the world. He wouldn't be one of the biggest movie stars in the world if it wasn't for the WWE. This is a guy that had dreams of playing in the NFL. I believe the story goes he wasn't even drafted, so he ended up going and playing for the CFL. He went and did that until his dreams ran dry. Basically, he talks about in his book, I think sleeping 6 guys in one hotel room trying to save money while, still hanging on to the dream, hoping that someone in the NFL will be seeing him play there. And he just basically gave up and quit and said, this isn't going to work. He went and, got trained by his dad. His dad hooked him up with Gerald Briscoe. No, not Gerald Briscoe. Pat Patterson. I apologize. Pat Patterson saw him and knew that he was going to be a big star in professional wrestling. He ended up probably becoming a bigger star than he ever was. And everybody knows The Rock's timeline. He comes up. He ends up becoming huge. One thing leads to another. He does Saturday Night Live. After Saturday Night Live, that turns into him doing The Mummy, Scorpion King, and then Scorpion King rolls into him becoming an actual movie star, getting leading roles and big time money, and to the point where he left wrestling behind and just took off on this movie thing. He did come back for WrestleMania 28, and I don't know, when I think about The Rock, he makes his appearances here or there, but it seems like every year for WrestleMania we're holding out for this big Rock match, and we think The Rock is going to put it over the top. And, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I mean, like, The Rock had his run when, he made his return for WrestleMania 27. He was going to be the guest host, and basically with that, it was setting up him, seeing his chances of winning the title at WrestleMania 27. by giving him the rock bottom, which set up the match at WrestleMania 28. Along the way, he wrestled to support WrestleMania 28 by doing the Survivor Series match, which was an utter disaster. I think people wanted to see Cena and Rock fight. They didn't want to see them tag team up. They didn't believe that The Miz and R-Truth were viable contenders to be going up against these guys. At the end, people were hoping for some sort of a payoff of The Rock giving a rock bottom to Cena. Even though they won, they still hated each other, and nothing happened. You know, they came back, they had their match at WrestleMania 28, and then to set up WrestleMania 29, The Rock came back at the Royal Rumble, won the championship. Then he went on to have the match at Elimination Chamber, which a lot of people don't remember. And then, losing the title, passing the torch to John Cena at WrestleMania 29. And that has been it for The Rock wrestling. I think it's just because people always have dreams of, The Rock showing up and The Rock doing something huge from show to show. It just doesn't happen. I mean, think about WrestleMania 32, and I don't mean my videos to be like the ultimate downer. I just look at the mindset of professional wrestling, and as of right now, there's no way in the world WWE is getting 100,000 fans into that AT&T Center or stadium for WrestleMania 32. I mean, you think about WrestleMania 30, The Rock did show up. He was at the Hall of Fame. He did the thing with Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But if you think about the lead up, then people thought that The Rock was going to be showing up fighting Brock Lesnar, a match that people have been looking forward to ever since Brock returned after WrestleMania 28. WrestleMania 31 comes around, people thinking that The Rock is going to have a big match there. He did show up. He did the thing with Triple H and Stephanie, and people are holding on to the fact that The Rock's going to be having a big match against Triple H at WrestleMania 32. We haven't seen anything building towards that since last year on an episode of SmackDown with these guys sort of sticking their chest up and like sort of, I'm the man, and putting, us put the puzzle together, basically saying that WrestleMania is going to be Triple H versus The Rock, because the next time they fight, it's going to be in front of 100,000 fans. I don't know where these 25,000 mystery fans are that didn't show up to WrestleMania 30, that didn't show up to WrestleMania 31. Definitely, I think people thought that WrestleMania 32 had the hypes of being one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. I don't know if it was because they were going back to Texas, the home of WrestleMania, with at the Astrodome. I'd be WrestleMania 17. With Rock versus Austin, Triple H versus The Undertaker. I always screw this up. I always call it TLC, but I don't think it was a TLC. Whatever it was, the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian going in there and beating the hell out of each other. A very memorable WrestleMania, one of the best ones there is out there. But there's not going to be Shawn Michaels. There's not going to be Daniel Bryan. Stone Cold Steve Austin's a no. As of right now, it looks like we're going to get Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. What I'm really getting to is that I know the guys have dreams. Roman Reigns, they can trace the lines to basically saying that Roman Reigns and The Rock are family. But, you should be putting guys over on your shows and building them up to the point where they're bigger stars. As of right now, what they should be doing with Roman Reigns is that, not like dial it up to 100, where they keep bringing up the fact you don't want a Goldberg push for Roman Reigns. Like, Roman Reigns hasn't lost a match in a year. What you want to do is be sort of like doing the push that you did with Sheamus, pushing him to WrestleMania 28, where you didn't want Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, JBL. They didn't want you shoving it down your throat. What they wanted to do is get in the minds of the casual fans sitting there watching a Roman Reigns match and sort of go like, I honestly can't remember the last time Roman Reigns has lost a match. There's been times when he's been in trouble and he's had his back up against the ropes, but he always finds a way to get it done. And that's when you get to the point where they stack the deck against the guy wins the Royal Rumble, and you're like, wow, Roman's going to the WrestleMania, he's going to fight for the WWE Championship. This guy's due. I mean, he's had a great year. He's beat this guy and that guy and that guy. But you know, he's never lost. But you know, WWE, as they're booking right now, it's always sort of like, you know, we'll have Roman lose 3 weeks in a row to set up a match at the pay-per-view, and he'll win at the pay-per-view. And then you'll go on to the next feud, and you'll have him lose 2 times on the way to the pay-per-view. So that way he's mad, because he lost on Monday Night Raw. He lost on SmackDown. You know, he's embarrassed. He wants to get that win back, and he wins on the pay-per-view. It's this, you know, it's 50-50 style of booking, where it's just sort of like everybody wins. We keep everybody happy. The thing that it comes down to is, if you want to make stars, they got to win. I mean, they got to win all the time. Honestly, if The Rock wants to come back and wrestle, I'll take him. But, you know, I don't think that we should be sitting here building these high hopes for these big matches that, you know, are probably never going to happen. Rock versus Roman Reigns, it would be one hell of a deal if it went down to it. But, who knows? We may never see Rock wrestle ever again. The future is that you got guys right now, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Cesaro. You know, you've got Finn Balor, Tyler Breeze. Hell, you can even throw Samoa Joe into there. I'm hoping that I'm not leaving anybody out. And I'm not just naming my favorite wrestlers. I'm naming guys that should be stars. If people want to think about, you know, how the Attitude Era was, you know, blazing hot and everything was gold, you know, they've got more guys that should be stars in WWE right now than they had during the Attitude Era. Yes, there has to be matches when guys win, and there has to be matches when guys lose. You can't win them all, but you gotta have one guy that rises above the pack. You might have like Stone Cold Steve Austin during the Attitude Era being the main star. You never saw that guy fucking lose unless it was like one match a year on pay-per-view. Hulk Hogan, we grew up and this guy was the fucking man. He beat everybody. He got sat on by Earthquake, and next thing you know, he's got broken ribs, and you're like, oh man, Hogan's done. Go buy a friendship bracelet, this, that, or the other. But when Hogan came back and he said, you know what, because of all my Hulkamaniacs all wearing the friendship bracelets and everything, everybody's backs up against the wall. This is a fight that I can't back down from. I gotta make the fight at SummerSlam 1990. I'm gonna go out there and get it done. And he picked Earthquake up and he slammed that motherfucker down on the ground, and we went fucking bananas. I apologize that I'm going crazy right now, but it just seems, honestly, so easy. And they're just not doing it. The promo that Roman Reigns had Monday Night Raw this week, where he just basically said, we got our third guy, we're showing up the pay-per-view, and we're going to kick your ass. That's how short and that's how easy a Roman Reigns promo it should be. But they stick him out there and they say, go talk for 10 minutes. And everybody changes the channel because the guy, it doesn't fit him what he does. They need to put their aces in their places. And it boggles my mind that WWE has all of these guys, and he's just not using them. You got guys throwing things against the wall. Like, hey, wrestling will get big when Brock Lesnar comes back. No shit, Brock Lesnar should bring in big fans, because he's a huge star. They don't use him all the time. When they bring him in, you know the business is going down. When they do bring the guy in, they're paying him so much money that they don't want him to lose, because you don't want to spoil your investment that you've made in this guy. But Roman Reigns should be at the same star level that Brock should be at. And it boggles my mind why he's not there.